Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. I've talked about my favorite foundations, favorite powders, so today, by popular demand, I will be sharing my all-time favorite primers, well worth the money. And I know primers can be somewhat controversial. You either believe in them or you don't. But all of these primers here that we're going to talk about pull double duty, some of them triple duty. So they're going to do a lot more for your skin than just prolong the life of your foundation. They do that as well. I did my best to separate by category, so I have radiance, sun protection, long wear, and then general skin concern. There's like a whole miscellaneous category here at the end. These are all my favorites from my personal collection. Depending on my makeup look of the day, where I'm going, how my skin is looking or feeling, that's how I decide which one to use. I'm starting with Radiance, and I just looked them up. All 4 of these primers contain skincare. But I want to begin with the primer that I've been using the most lately. This is from By Terry. It's her Cellular Rose Brightening CC Serum. Color Correcting Radiance Elixir. I have the shade 2, which is the Rose Elixir. So it gives the most beautiful, pale pink, slightly iridescent, ethereal glow underneath your makeup. It is so pretty. I don't like to apply this all over the face, but I'll go in with a really light brush, and I really just apply it in the T-zone, underneath the eyes, on the cheeks, and then the center points of the face. It's enriched with rose stem cells, optical glow technology, light reflecting prisms, soft focus microspheres, and color correcting pigments. There are 4 different shades available. There's a pearl, apricot glow, and sunny flash, which is really popular. That looks beautiful for summer. This is one of the most expensive primers. It's $91 because of course it has the skincare built in, and By Terry products are more expensive. But I have not regretted this purchase. It is so pretty underneath the makeup. I think this is beautiful for spring. It's also gorgeous for brides, special occasions, any of those moments that you want your complexion to just look pearlescent, radiant. You have to give it a really nice shake every time, and it's so thin. It goes on the skin and it feels like nothing. So it doesn't add any weight. It's not going to make your foundation feel heavier because you've used this primer. It has the faintest rose fragrance, but it's light and fresh. I really like it, but I love the way this looks underneath my foundation. I've been using this just about every single day. This next primer is a new favorite. This is the Farsali Liquid Glass Radiance Make Skin Serum. And this could have gone in the longwear category, but I went ahead and threw it in with Radiance because it does give your skin a little glow, and you can see it almost has an iridescent finish. You can really see it before you rub it into the skin, and somebody was kind enough to point out that it's called the Radiance Make Skin Serum because it's a makeup skincare hybrid product. That completely blew my mind. I had no idea what I was reading. I was so confused. And it says right here on the bottle that it also contains hyaluronic acid, but it's chock full of other great things for your skin. It contains watermelon rind extract, lentil fruit extract, and apple extract. It's vegan, cruelty-free, and it's listed as one of the Clean at Sephora products. So that kind of drew me in, it kind of piqued my interest, but I've fallen in love with this as a primer because it just makes my foundation look perfect. And I mean, hours later, I'm impressed. I can visibly see a difference from using foundation alone with using foundation with this as a primer. And it almost has this tackiness to it. It's a good tack because it just grabs your foundation. Whatever you lay down on your skin on top of this, it is going to stay put. It does give a little bit of a glass skin effect, but truly the reason I love this so much is because I feel like it just fills in any fine lines, any pores. It just smooths the canvas, and then the foundation just looks so much better. Another one of my favorite radiance boosting primers is the Wonder Glow from Charlotte Tilbury, the Instant Soft Focus Beauty Flash. I wasn't sure if this contained any special ingredients, but I looked it up and it sure does. It has collagen supporting peptides and patented anti-wrinkle ingredients. Whatever that means. All I know is that this makes your skin look so beautiful. This I like to apply all over my face. I would apply this on neck, chest, décolleté as well if you want a little extra glow. It feels so nice. Again, it's very thin, lightweight, but you can tell that this is going to fill in your fine lines and pores. I always say that Charlotte Tilbury does glowy, dewy, radiant skin better than anybody else. I feel like all of her complexion products are created to give your skin kind of this flawless glow. I love this primer so much. This has a really great texture because it's not sticky, it's not tacky whatsoever, but it's also not greasy or oily. So I think all skin types can use this primer if you want a little extra glow. Even if you have oily skin, combination skin, normal skin, dry skin, this is going to be a great radiance primer for you. The last primer in the Radiance category is from Laura Mercier, and this was sent to me complimentary a couple months back. This is the Illuminating Pure Canvas Primer. It's silicone free, it has less than 1% of synthetic fragrance, water-based, and all of these Pure Canvas primers were designed to target skin concerns. So again, it's not just meant to help your makeup look really nice, it's also meant to help your skin look really nice. I love the fact that it has barely any fragrance because you can't really tell that you have anything on. For anybody with sensitive skin or if you're irritated easily, this would be a great line of primers to take a look at. And I didn't have high expectations for this because I remember trying their Radiance primer before they reformulated, and it did irritate my skin. I remember breaking out in tiny little red bumps all over my face every time I used the Radiance primer from Laura Mercier. It did not agree with my skin at all. So I was really happy to find that all of these Pure Canvas primers were far less irritating. It doesn't give a ton of radiance, but I think it's far more natural. The way I like to use this primer is actually in conjunction with the Perfecting Primer. This is another primer on the list. These two together are beautiful, and you can mix any of these primers together or you can spot prime. So I could go in with the Perfecting just in my T-zone or just my cheeks to fill in fine lines and pores, and then I could go in with the Illuminating Primer any areas that I want a little extra luminosity. I just mix them together and apply it all over. Category 2 is sun protection, but 2 out of the 3 primers also contain glow. So you can see it gets a little bit tricky to place these in a single box because a lot of these primers just do so many things. You know, they wear so many hats. This first primer is the Super Goop Glow Screen. I just picked this up during the Sephora sale, so I haven't had it a long time. I've only used this a handful of times, but I love it every single time. It is so beautiful, and this is one of the best radiance primers, truly, because it gives the skin so much glow and luminosity, but it has SPF 40. That's what sets this primer apart. Now, of course, with any sun protection, in order to get the full SPF 40, you're gonna have to go in with a lot of product, really cover your face, and if you wanted prolonged sun protection, you would have to reapply. But I still think this is great as a primer because it gives you glow, it gives your makeup something to hold on to. It does have a little bit of a stickiness, so that's really nice. But if you're just running out the door in the morning, or if you're running outside running errands, you don't necessarily have to be reapplying sunscreen all day, but you definitely don't want to skip sunscreen either. So this is a great reminder, easy to work into everyday routine. Now, of the 3 sun protection primers, this one has the heaviest fragrance. I know that can be a huge turnoff for some people. It's not incredibly heavy. I don't think it's too overpowering, personally. I'm pretty picky when it comes to sunscreen. If it has a gross scent, I'm not going to put it on my face. I haven't experienced that with this glow screen, but it's just something to keep in mind. Now, here's a primer that I haven't used in a while. It was kind of buried back in the drawers. I'm so excited that I went through everything because I found this again, and I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of it for the rest of the summer. This is from Bare Minerals. It's their Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. There's an entire range of shades, and I think they're meant to act as almost a tinted moisturizer, but this is the 01 Opal, and it has a little bit of radiance to it. I think it's kind of like a universal shade. It has SPF 30, which is pretty darn good, and I love the glow this gives to the skin. See, again, this could be a radiance primer, but then it has SPF 30. It could also be a tinted moisturizer if you get one of the shades that corresponds with your skin tone. You can see it's kind of this pearly, peachy pink. So not only does it have sun protection, it's going to help even out your complexion as well. This would be a great primer for anybody who has hyperpigmentation, post-blemish marks, blemish marks that you want to conceal a little bit before you go in with your foundation. This really doesn't have any smell at all, so if that's something that's a big turnoff for you, especially when it comes to sunscreen, this would be worth checking out. And of course, with Bare Minerals, the price is always really reasonable. I love, love, love this primer. You may be thinking to yourself, now how did the Chanel CC cream sneak its way into a primer video? But that is truly the way I like to use the Chanel CC cream, to prime. So I had to talk about it. I know, I talk about it all the time. It has SPF 50. I love that about this. It also contains vitamin C by way of moringa plum extract, hyaluronic acid, really great coverage. So again, this would be an amazing primer for anybody with discoloration and uneven skin tone. Go in with a little CC cream first, and then you don't have to use as much foundation. It's just so amazing. This is one of those skincare makeup hybrid products. I like to use a little bit of the CC cream as a tinted moisturizer. You know, I'll just kind of touch up wherever I need to and then get out the door. But if there's an occasion where I really want my makeup to look incredible, I'll use the Chanel CC cream. Just a little bit, just in my T-zone. Any areas where I maybe need to conceal, or if I'm feeling a little bit dry, I'll just rub a little bit of this on. It's a really versatile product. But if you've never tried this as a primer, I highly recommend testing it out. See what you think, because it is first and foremost meant to be a color corrector. So it's just going to even out your complexion. An SPF 50, that's really amazing. I have two longwear primers here to talk about, and when I say longwear, I simply mean they extend the longevity of your foundation. So here is the Guerlain Lure Radiance Primer. Again, this is a dual category primer, and then I have the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Perfecting Primer. This just feels so lightweight, but it gives the skin a really nice base underneath foundation. It almost looks like a gel. Let me show you. So it's transparent. It just works to fill in any fine lines, pores, completely smooth the canvas, and that way when you go in with your foundation on top, your foundation has something to grab a hold of, and that way it doesn't budge and it lasts longer. I said earlier that I really like to mix these two together, but you certainly don't have to. In fact, if you have more of an oily combination skin type, this may be the only primer that you want to use. And as it dries down, you can feel it's not sticky, it's not tacky, but there is just a little bit of a tug or a pull. You can just tell that whatever you put on top, it's just going to stick, locked and loaded. Now, as much as I love that Laura Mercier primer, my number one choice for a longwear primer is the Guerlain Lure Radiance Primer. It has these little gold flecks. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? It just looks like 24 karat gold suspended in this really beautiful gel. It's not, of course. When you pump it out, you kind of have to rub it around. You break up all of those little flecks, and then they're distributed on the skin, and it acts as a little bit of a radiance booster, but it's the gel. This might be too sticky for some people, but I love it. You have to give it a second, let it work on the skin, let it dry down, and it gets nice and tacky, and it feels really thin, but you can tell that it is not going anywhere. It fills in every teeny, tiny little crease, crevice on your face. It truly smooths the canvas, and you just know it's just gonna sit there right on the skin. So it's gonna grab your foundation and it's not gonna budge after that. I love the smell too. If I were to get married again, I shouldn't say that, if I were to get married again, that's not how I meant it to sound. If I were to have a special occasion or some sort of main event that I needed my makeup to look amazing in the morning and last all day, and I was going to be exposed to the elements, outside, dancing around, moving around, unpredictable circumstances, we'll say, I would grab this Guerlain Lure Radiance Primer over any other primer on the list. Maybe the By Terry. And now as I'm looking at these, I wonder if you could mix these two together. This might be the power combination of a lifetime. These two are my two favorites. I know, we've already talked about 9 different primers, and you might be thinking to yourself, what more could there possibly be left to talk about? But I do want to mention these last two primers because they're important and I only grab them every once in a while. So this is the skin concern category. These are both from YSL. So here I have the Instant Moisture Glow Ultra Moisture Primer. I also have the Instant Matte Pore Refiner Primer. This is something that I'll use if I'm really dehydrated, my skin is just thirsty, perhaps I'm covering from a sunburn or a peel, something going on where my skin is just really dry and patchy. This is incredibly moisturizing. It feels ultra rich. I mean, that's what it's called, ultra moisture. It really has that thick, rich moisturizer feel. But it's not just a moisturizer, you know, I want to go in with my skincare first, and this is going to be that barrier that just helps smooth the skin. You know, it's not going to just absorb, and it's just meant to sit right on top and keep everything soft, supple, smooth, and hydrated. If I'm experiencing a lot of dryness, a lot of flaking, I'll go in with this underneath my foundation. Because, you know, sometimes you can't help it. It's nice to give your skin time to breathe, but you might find yourself in a situation where you have to apply makeup. So this is great because, again, you can spot prime. So you don't have to apply this all over your face. You might only have dry cheeks or a dry forehead for whatever reason. This is there to the rescue. On the other side, the Instant Matte Pore Refiner is going to help mattify. So if you're feeling incredibly oily or you have a lot of, you know, open pores, greasy skin, you can use this primer. My skin type is pretty normal, sometimes combination, but leaning more normal. So I'm not going to use this primer necessarily for oil control, but I might find myself in a situation where I'm using a really dewy, really luminous foundation and I'm going to be outside in the dead of summer when it's really hot and humid. I'd use this primer in my T-zone, and that might not even be enough depending on how humid it is outside. So I don't use this that often, but there are certain occasions, there are certain times that I'm so happy to have this on hand. These are great for whenever my skin is going through something very specific. I don't use them daily, but when I need them, they're lifesavers. That completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you found this information helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions, your recommendations down below. I would love to hear from you guys if you have a favorite primer. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned, everything on my face, down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.